Hey everyone, it's Mel. I've been plagued by a question more recently. It's not really a nice question. Basically, how would a being like Discord want to be remembered after he's gone? I mean, I was curious, and so I asked him, and it turns out he's actually written a will, and he's shown me it. And to the surprise of nobody, its contents are a bit bizarre and more than a little disturbing. I asked if maybe we could get this in more than just written on toilet paper, so I've asked him to actually record it, and he very kindly said yes. So I'll pass you over.
Oh, all right. I still don't know why in Tartarus you need me to read out my own will. It's your channel this all revolves around. Just don't keep me. I've got soup on.
Any particular reason?
I'm entertaining guests for the evening.
Fine. When's it supposed to be finished?
Well, by the time it's finished, it should turn into alphabetti spaghetti, and I know how much that annoys Papyrus.
Alphabetti spaghetti?!
I don't know why I bother.
Tonight, I regret to inform you, a comedian died in Canterlot. My dearest little ponies. If you are reading this, then the Discord that you all know and love has officially passed on. He is no more. He has ceased to be. He's expired and gone to meet his maker. He's a stiff, bereft of life. He rests in peace. He pushes up the daisies. His metabolical processes are now history. He's off the twig. He's kicked the bucket. He shuffled off his mortal coil, run down the curtains, and joined the bleeding choir invisible.
Get on with it!
This is a note from an ex-Discord. I hope I went out in a suitably noble and dignified fashion, as befitting my legacy of selfless heroics, and that I didn't just choke to death on a fishbone or something. In any case, now that I am at room temperature, awakened to eternal life, bit the dust, bit the big one, bought the one-way ticket, climbed the stairway to heaven and knocked on heaven's door, crossed the great divide. I am immortally challenged and finally given up. That damn oxygen habit I've been meaning to give up for a while. I have several last requests which I expect to be carried out, and it is of vital importance that they are followed to the letter. Will. While many of you may be inclined to ignore my wishes, yes, I'm looking at you, Rainbow Dash, it is of absolute necessity that you do not. As the spirit of chaos, my duties are very important. Far more important than I may have led you to believe. If my instructions are not followed, you may upset the balance of the world for generations to come. On the other hand, if they are followed properly, I promise that the next spirit of chaos after me will be extremely grateful for your efforts. He or she may even refrain from turning you all into cacti. If any of you are still alive by that time. First of all, there's my burial. Don't do it. I know you ponies often like to bury your dead, but I'm not a pony. My people have their own traditions. Ancient Draconicus funeral rites had the deceased's heart removed and preserved. I think it was meant to symbolize something, but I don't remember what. They then had their body thrown into a volcano, since our draconic body parts were resistant to most other forms of cremation. I'm not usually one for tradition, but I want a variation of this. Specifically, you should remove my heart and throw that into the volcano. Be warned that my heart doesn't look like a heart, and that it is not located where you think it should be. It moves around a lot. You'll know it when you see it because it's giving off an ominous red glow, and gazing upon it causes auditory hallucinations. Have fun. Then, I want the rest of my body preserved. I want it stuffed in a pose that makes it look like I'm pointing and laughing at the rest of you. And I want it mounted on the wall above Celestia's throne. As well, before this is done, I'd like for my blood to be drained from my body, and for some pony to skip around the entire perimeter of the Everfree forest, sprinkling it on the ground behind them as they go. It is very important that this circles the entire forest. If the blood trail causes cracks in the earth to open and begin spawning foul creatures, just ignore them and keep going. If left to their own devices, I promise that the Chaos Demons won't harm any pony. though you may still want to avoid the forest for a few years afterwards, come to think of it. For my funeral itself, I wish for Pinkie Pie to do the planning. It must not be one of those weepy, crying affairs. Boredom is about the worst torture that any being could inflict upon me, so being boring is not a good way to honor my memory. My funeral must be loud, colorful, and bombastic. I expect stand-up comedians, performing animals, and completely tasteless music. Make sure that my stuffed body is present for the duration of the funeral, and position me so it looks as if I'm mocking the mourners. Also, please prepare a buffet table which includes suitably chaotic food. I expect alternate versions of myself to crash the party, and they must be catered for. I haven't actually sent any invitations, but I know myself. I've personally helped ruin the funerals of at least 12 alternate discords already, so be prepared for shenanigans. If any of my counterparts ask to give a speech, let them. It will probably be hilarious. Instead of a memorial stone, I want a memorial tree. Trees grow and change unlike stone. Plant it as a seed at the funeral, and force it to grow super fast. I'd also prefer if some pony who could use some chaos magic would kindly mutate the tree in some amusing fashion. Maybe make the leaves pink or something. If you want, then you could attach a plaque to the tree, but personally, I'm not bothered. Just make sure you don't put something sickeningly cliché on it. Included in this will are a series of private letters for each of my friends. And Rainbow Dash, to be opened whenever you please. Twilight Sparkle's one includes an additional speech by myself, which I wish to be read at the funeral, and I request that she not read it before the event. When it's time, I would like for her to animate my corpse with magic, to make it read out the speech to the assembled ponies, unless any alternate discords are present at the funeral, in which case, one of them can do it. I also need some pony to clean house for me. Since being freed, I've made my home in a small pocket dimension above Canterlot. Celestia's letter includes instructions for accessing it. It must be opened, cleared out, and collapsed. There are several animals living in that realm which will not survive without me regularly returning to create more food for them. They should be good for a few more months. But better to be safe than sorry. I leave it up to Fluttershy what to do with them, with the sole exception of the Dream Eater, who I must insist be sent back to Vanaheim in Luna's care. Once the animals are free, I would like you to locate some books in this realm. I have no idea how long you'll be searching, but you're looking for 2 of them. The first is a journal. It's small, brown, bound in conjured leather, has a plain cover and written in invisible ink. This is for Fluttershy, and nobody else. I'm looking at you, Rainbow Dash. I swear to God I'll find you. The second is a large, greyish-green tome titled Biblia Discordia. It has its name on the spine, but not the cover. This is for Twilight Sparkle, as I think she'll find it enlightening. It is a comprehensive guide to all things chaos, compiled by one of my cultists in ages past. Be careful when reading it, because it's cursed. Just thought I'd warn you, just in case you thought I was deliberately trying to corrupt you from beyond the grave. Once the books and animals are retrieved, collapse the dimension and let the rest of my property be destroyed and or scattered, i.e. akin to a bag of holding. Wrong universe. Don't try to save anything else. Some things are better left buried. And finally, I would like for you ponies to locate a mare called Screwball. You'll know her by her cutie mark. I have no idea where she is at present, but I suggest you begin your search with the local asylums. Once she is found, speak these exact words to her. Father is asleep, but the job isn't done. Don't worry if she's not conscious at the time. It'll still work. Be sure to do this in a large, open space. Screwball is going to be filling in for me until the next true Spirit of Chaos comes along. She has a portion of my power sealed within her. Not enough to conquer Equestria, but enough to ruin Sfout for his day if he ever tries to take advantage of my death to bring true order back to Equestria. I think it's only fair to warn you that Screwball probably doesn't know how to use it. and that she may be dangerous. I humbly request that you refrain from blasting her with any hideously overpowered Tree of Harmony superweapons if she gets out of hoof. I'm looking at you, Rainbow Dash. She really is a sweet girl. Be a friend to her, like you were to me, and you won't need to fear anything. Chaos isn't naturally friendly, but it can learn to be. You've all shown me that. And I think that's everything. Knowing me, I've probably forgotten plenty of important things, so I'll periodically return to redo this will as I think of them. I did initially laugh at Celestia's suggestion, and Mel's insistence. But anyway, I suppose it's best to prepare for the worst. But the truth is that I do make a lot of enemies, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't fear the possibility myself. For what it's worth, I apologize for whomever it is that finds my body. I can't imagine it was a pretty sight, considering what it takes to kill me. Hopefully I'll look better than cherry pie dropped from a high window. But that being said, I'd like to thank you all for being my friends for as long as you have. Friendship has made my life very interesting these past few years, and I hope to carry forward the lessons I've learned from you all into the next one. Here's to seeing you all out there. Finally. Now I can burn my will. Mel? Mel?
Yeah? What's the matter?
I've done the blasted video like you asked me to. Now, how's my soup coming along?
Well, the soup changed to a pyramid of Ferrero Rocher.
Ooh, that's good.
And now it's on fire.
And that's bad.
Yeah, you go ahead and sort that out. I'll finish off the video. Okay, that was Discord reading out his will, labelled Rest in Chaos. I'd like to say a big thank you to Discord for reading it, a big thank you to DannyJ for helping him write it. I can't imagine that was easy. And a big thank you to all of you guys for putting up with what I can imagine is 10 minutes of just farting noises, knowing Discord. Well, anyway, thank you for putting up with it. Take care, guys. Stay shiny.